and welcome to Kitchen Competence, episode 3. We're going to be doing an Alton Brown recipes, and we are in our series, and this is going to be shrimp with grits. We're going to do a two-parter, so we'll change shirts in the middle. No, well, not with each other.
We could.
But in the middle, because you have to let it sit overnight if you do it the correct way, which we will not be doing, but there's still some prep work that needs to be done, and it's a lengthy recipe. So the first thing you do is buy 2 pounds of shrimp, and not jumbo shrimp, like I did. I misunderstood how shrimp works.
So when you buy shrimp, shrimp count is the measurement they use for shrimp, and so you'll see a lot when you're buying it. They'll say something like 10 to 15 or 31 to 35, and what that is referring to is the average number of shrimp that you have in a pound. So if you get 2 pounds of 20 to 25 shrimp, you're going to get 40 to 50 shrimp because you get 20 to 25 per pound. That's kind of a more specific measurement than just large, extra large, jumbo, colossal, and so on. Although there are industry standard terms, like technically jumbo is 8 to 12 and large is the 31 to 35, I believe. So we got 20 shrimp, which is a good number of shrimp. But yeah, these are too large.
You're supposed to get little teeny tiny shrimp.
We'll end up chopping them up later, which will be fine.
The other thing is supposed to get head-on shrimp, which I did technically buy according to the label, but then when you look at them, there are no heads.
You can prove from your label that you asked for the correct thing.
I asked for the correct thing. And the other thing that you're supposed to do after you de-shell them all, so you're going to separate the shells, you're going to keep the shells from the shrimp.
Come on, buddy.
You're supposed to devein them, but luckily, probably because they also took care of the heads, they've also already been deveined, so...
Convenient.
Convenient.
I am struggling with this guy. He does not
want to.
He is anchored, and I don't want to rip off the tail because that's good eating.
That's fair.
Oh, I've been ripping off the tails.
No. He means
I mean the meat inside of it.
The meat inside the tails. You're doing it right, Katie.
There we go. Good golly, that guy just did not want to come out.
He likes living.
He also likes being in the correct bowl.
So I bought 20 of these,
which is about 1.5 pounds.
Which is about 1.5 pounds. And we don't have to film the whole de-shelling of the 20, so we'll see you then. So we have finished shelling the shrimp, and we just rinsed them off, and then we preheated a pot. So we're going to dump those in right there. And then we're just going to cook them until they become pink. And they're actually pinking up really quickly. Like the first one that hit was just like turning pink really fast.
The reason you do this is to extract the flavor from the shells so that when we add the water and cook it down into broth, you get that shrimpy flavor infused in there. It's like if you're familiar with making chicken broth from the bones left over from a whole chicken, it's the same concept. But of course, shrimp have their bones on the outside.
Right. So as we're de-skinning these things, it really becomes obvious, especially when they have the legs, that they are the bugs of the sea that we eat, but we would never eat a bug. But the bugs of the sea, those are fine.
That might be a later episode.
You're going to have to get me drunk before the episode starts. Oh, that's so nasty. Why would you bring that up? See, a worm would be fine because it didn't have any legs. It's the legs. That's the creepy part.
Sure.
Like a chicken's leg is big enough to just see the leg, and these are like 700 million. It's like millipedes, probably the creepiest bug.
Well, big thing, land bugs you normally just eat whole because they're so small, like crickets and stuff. People just eat whole crickets. But the legs are sometimes removed just because they'll get caught in your throat or whatever.
And they're nasty.
Yeah, they're nasty. The legs have like little spines and whatnot. That's pinking up real nice.
Yeah. Is that pink enough?
Another couple minutes doesn't hurt, I don't think.
Alright, so then after this, what we're going to do is we're going to put in some water and bring it to a boil. And I just pre-measured out 6 cups because you probably didn't want to watch us pour 6 separate cups into there. And then you're going to bring that to a boil. And then you're going to let it simmer for 45 minutes. So we will be back in 45 minutes. Alright, and we're back, and Jeremy won our game of Small World, which we suggest you play something while this simmers.
Spoiler alert, if you're ever playing a board game with somebody and that person's like, I'm losing, I can't win, I'm losing for the whole danged game.
Well, they're probably losing.
They usually win.
Oh.
And it's the most obnoxious thing ever. But it was a close game, 105, 104, 104.
Right, it was very, very close.
I have never seen that close a game of Small World ever. That was amazing.
So anyway, we let this simmer for about an hour. It's boiled down to about a quart, and so all we're gonna do is strain it and to save the broth part. Maybe. Thank you, Nathan.
We're going to strain it, we're going to let it cool, and we're going to end up using this broth instead of just water to make the grits, and the titular grits and shrimp. If we were good Southerners or had grocery stores that supported buying as if you were a good Southerner,
Right.
we would have whole stone ground grits that require 30, 45 minutes to cook, and we would actually soak the grits in this overnight to speed up that. We live north of the Mason-Dixon line and have a small grit selection in our grocery stores.
He had a suggested brand. It's like, all right, well, we have Quaker brand and we have instant or 5 minute. Those are the two options.
Yep, so we do not have real grits, so we're not going to bother soaking it because then we would get mush. But we are going to use this tomorrow. But if you had good grits, you would pour this over the grits with the shrimp as well, and some salt and some bay leaves and let that soak overnight. And then you would pick up where we are going to pick up tomorrow.
So we'll see that. We're back the next day. We've changed shirts. You'll notice that we're both in black today.
Yes, basic black,
Basic
after
black.
Labor Day.
So,
Or before Labor Day, whichever.
Nathan's wife, Raylene, who could not join us today due to a nap, which is fair, found us real grits. Well, sort of real grits. Realer than the kind that I got.
As real as you can get in Yankeetown.
Yes. So we added some bay leaves and the grits to our simmered down sauce that we made yesterday. Shrimp broth that we made yesterday. Anything else in there?
Just a little bit of extra salt, because, grits are not inherently very flavorful, so adding a little extra salt to the water / shrimp broth is not a bad idea.
Right. So we did that, and what we're going to do is we're just going to put it over in our 4-quart pan. I'll get that started, and we're going to bring it to a boil and basically cook it according to the directions on the cylinder that it came out of.
There you go.
In the meantime, we are going to start flavoring up our shrimp. First things first, we need a tablespoon of lemon juice, which is the juice from about half of a medium-sized lemon. So I'll just get that right in there. Nothing goes better with seafood than lemon juice and lemon seeds. Come on, buddy.
They sell lemons right next to the awful fish place that I buy the fish from.
Well, we've had difficulty with our seafood so far on this show, but it's all turned out okay, and that's what matters.
Well, we don't live in the coast, is my excuse. And I refuse to go to a grocery store that's not Hy-Vee.
Did we ever slice up the shrimp to be smaller?
Yes,
Yep.
we
I did that.
sliced the shrimp to be smaller because we didn't want to eat giant.
Yeah, you're supposed to get this big of shrimp, and I got this big of shrimp, and it's a
Yeah.
little different.
Like, have you seen Beetlejuice and there's the big hands of shrimp that grab him on the face during the big dance sequence? That's what she got, was those giant shrimp instead of the little tiny shrimps that you get in like a soup. So the other thing that goes great with seafood is Old Bay, and for some reason they only had a hot Old Bay, which is okay because we were going to add hot sauce anyway, so
They
we're just
also
going
have
to...
blackened Old Bay. Those were the two options. I go to a great place. It has all of the things that I want.
This is why I say Katie shouldn't be allowed to go shopping without Nathan there anymore.
Well, I would just go to a different grocery store.
Right, I'm aware.
Little Old Bay action in there, and because, again, grits are not the most flavorful thing, so a little hot sauce. The recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of hot sauce, but because we got the hot Old Bay, I'm just doing 1 teaspoon, but it's a heaping teaspoon because yum.
Do you want me to start heating up the skillet for the bacon?
By all means.
Okay. So anyway, how's your day today?
Doing all right. Doing okay. Working hard at work because that's what you do.
I went and did a Pokemon raid today,
Oh, do you?
and it was not very exciting. It was because it said that it was a 5,000 Pokemon, but then after it let me catch it, it went down to an 800 Pokemon.
Well, yeah, the boss you fight is not the same strength as you catch, because that'd be absurd.
That would be amazing.
I don't know what these words mean.
What type of Pokemon was it?
It was a quilava.
Oh, nice.
That's not a Snorlax or a Jigglypuff, so I don't care. Because Snorlax and Jigglypuff are the best Pokemans.
It's Pokemon.
Pokemans. Alright, so we are kind of at a waiting phase, so we might fast forward in a bit, but we're going to get the grits boiling and simmering down. The shrimp is waiting. The next phase, and Katie already turned the heat on so we can do this, is to fry up some bacon, because bacon makes everything better. And so we'll be back to do that in a minute.
So I waited until that boiled, and then now bacon is gonna make. Nathan's gonna make the bacon. That was professional. All he's gonna do is he cuts the strips in half since it's a frying pan, so that way it doesn't like circle around weird like I did this morning for breakfast. And then you get like one weird spot that's not straight. And then he also
All bacon is beautiful, so it's okay.
That's true.
and then he also chopped up some scallions, but they were actually green onions because Hy-Vee didn't have scallions. But I looked online and they said that it was pretty much the same thing. Actually what they said is they're different, but they're very similar, but people keep just interchanging the terms, so you can't stop it now, and that was what they said. And that's my story. Do you have anything to add?
No.
No. Alright, bye. Alright, so if we're cutting too much, you have to let us know, but we were told that our videos are too long, and so we were trying to work on that. And me explaining that helps shorten the video. But there's no proper vegetable with this, which is probably by design, so I'm just making asparagus, and the easiest way we have found to make asparagus is you snap off the ends, and then you just grab a thing of ham, and you just spray them. I'm sure you could just drizzle with olive oil too. But there's no fat when you just spray it, or calories. Unless you sprayed a lot. Like a lot. And then I just go over it with some salt. And then I go over it with some pepper. And it's a very complex recipe. And then you stick it in the oven at 350 until they're tender when you pick them with a fork. I have no idea how many minutes that is until they're done. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the oven and we'll go from there.
We do have a second vegetable side dish.
Oh, do we?
Assuming mint's a vegetable.
Oh yeah, assuming mint's a vegetable, which I don't think it
We have a
is.
side dish made out of mint and corn.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's
Bourbon's made
bourbon
out of
corn?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so we're good. I don't even know what to throw it away. So we're back and the bacon is cooked and we're going to add the shrimp to the oil that the bacon made, the grease.
That's the sound.
And we're going to cook until it's pink. If you want to do that, I'll cut the bacon. Ooh, that was almost a disaster.
Nice save.
Alright, so then it says to coarsely cut the bacon, chop, whatever, the bacon. And so we're going to do that. Can I just eat the bacon?
I think no. Well, apparently yeah.
You have to taste test it, Jeremy.
Okay, that's fair.
Otherwise, how will you
Not
know
coming out of my
it's
share. I counted the bacon.
good? I didn't eat a whole piece. I don't know if this is how you chop it, but I'm pretty sure that this is working perfectly. So, there you go.
It's just going to get mixed in with the grits and stuff, so it doesn't have to be aesthetically perfect. You're just going to get
Right.
little bite-sized pieces.
So that's what we're doing. And what we're going to do is we're going to, after the grits are done, which they're very close, we're going to add a tablespoon of butter to the grits. And then we're going to add the scallions/green onions. And then we're going to add these. And
We're going to add the bacon and scallions are going back into the shrimp once the shrimp's done.
Oh, okay.
And
Never
the
mind.
butter goes into the grits, and then at that point it's pretty much done. It consists of scoop some grits into a bowl, scoop some shrimp, bacon, and scallion mixture on top, and enjoy with some asparagus and a mint julep.
There you go. We'll be back when that's all assembled. Well, we'll be back to make the drink. Alright, so the grits are ready, the shrimp are ready, and the asparagus is not ready because I was like, I'm going to wait a minute to actually put this in, and now everything else is ready. So we're going to make the mint julep. So it calls for 6 leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you muddle them.
With the sugar
With
syrup.
an ounce of the simple syrup.
half ounce is simple syrup.
Fair point. See? You knew what you were doing.
It's because I read the instructions. A little over.
That's all right.
The great
I'll
thing
do
about
that
a mint
sweet
julep
one.
is you really can't. I mean, just
So then you just squish it?
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, it's just a little sweeter or a little mintier or a little bourbonier.
Katie has never muddled anything in any drink before for viewers at home.
Nothing seems to be happening.
That's fine. You're bruising, so you don't have to have any huge effect. The muddling action just bruises the leaves and releases some of the oil, so you get more of the flavor. You can kind of tell the same thing if you grab just a piece of mint and smell it versus if you then like just squeeze it and smush it and you get that oil all over your hands and your hands smell like gum because of how minty they are. That's basically what you're doing in the glass right now. So that's probably plenty.
Okay, so it should be noted that I don't like mojitos because of the mint and the fact that there are leaves in them. So we'll see how this works out.
Worst case scenario, we have bourbon and glasses.
That's true.
Although I don't
That's
like
a
bourbon
callback to
either.
our first episode.
Is that an ounce? No. There we go. 1 and then 2 ounces bourbon. 2. And then some ice. It's called for crushed ice, but we don't have crushed ice.
That's all right.
And then we're just gonna stir it up a little bit. And then we're gonna taste it. See what happens.
Jeremy's the mojito guy. So.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
should
a
taste
mojito.
it. You like
But
both
you're the guy
bourbon
who likes
and
mint.
That's true.
mojitos.
You can try that while Katie makes another one.
That is delicious.
Yeah.
That is
Well
quite-
done.
Well
Thank
done,
you.
Katie Marie.
For
It tastes like bourbon and mint and sugar. Three
well,
delicious things.
2 little leaves will equal 1 big leaf.
It seems reasonable.
But anyway, we will continue once we have assembled all parts, and then you can see us taste the final product.
All right.
Alright, so we've assembled it, and this is the final product. So I'm just going to take some grits and some shrimp. What?
You're just going. It's like, here's my stuff. I'm eating now.
My dinner time.
No time for pillow talk. I'm eating these grits in my tum tum.
My dinner time's at 5. It's 7. I'm hungry.
Getting hangry.
I'm getting angry.
So we did notice we tried some of the grits without the shrimp first, and we were happy that you could hear a little, not hear, that's not which sense I'm describing, you could taste a little bit of the shrimpiness, which meant that all that effort yesterday making the shrimp broth wasn't just pointless busy work.
Right. I like it. I like it quite a bit, especially with a bacon bit in there. The first bite I didn't have a bacon bit, and then I added it. It was really good. I usually don't like bacon on things because I don't feel like it enhances the flavor. But here it is. I don't know.
It sometimes makes things just taste like bacon.
Yeah. I don't know that I would go through the trouble of making the shrimp thing because the shrimp itself is so good.
The grits, you mean, with the shrimp broth?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's fine. Like I said, it's a very subtle flavoring. Like
Right.
it would almost be worth doing if you're gonna have shrimp like for dinner, like if you're making shrimp scampi or something one night, and if you wanted to then have grits the following morning for breakfast, instead of wasting the shells, you could get that shrimp flavor into your breakfast without needing the shrimp.
Right, because it wasn't that much work. It was just a long time for it to simmer down, and then we simmered it down a little bit too much, as it turns out. So then we just had to add some water to dilute it. The asparagus is also good.
Yeah, any vegetable with a little salt and oil baked, I mean, simple potatoes, whatever. Or get in the mojitos. Jeremy only wants to talk about the alcohol because Jeremy has a problem. So you described it as, what was it, tolerable bourbon?
Tolerable bourbon.
Because you're not a bourbon fan in general.
Not. You know what I could use a little less of?
Bourbon.
Bourbon.
So mint and bourbon are both very strong flavors, and
Yeah.
so the interesting thing is because they're both so strong, they weaken each other. So you can you don't taste the mint as strongly as you would think, and you don't taste the bourbon as strongly as you would think. So somehow two overpowering things clashing kind of tame each other a little bit.
I think that's the problem with mojitos too. Is, well, not the problem. I mean, it's a good thing. I don't like tequila either.
The rum in a mojito.
I thought it was tequila.
Nope.
Well, you can put tequila in anything.
You can, but a mojito is rum.
The point is, it's smoother than just drinking it straight because of the mint, but it's
Right.
not as minty as you would expect. Like you're not drinking a mint flavored drink.
Right.
You're
I would,
drinking a bourbon flavored drink.
I would make this again though. On a heartbeat.
All right.
Perfect.
All right. We'll see you next time.